Hi, you're watching Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our platforms. I am Mike Morales, CEO of this wonderful company here in San Antonio. That young man is,
Hello, I'm Felipe de Herida, and I'm in England, sunny UK.
yeah, the sunny UK. I can see it's rather sunny out in the curtain in your back there. It looks, the sun is still
Yeah,
out. That's good.
only for about the next half hour.
Well, um, Felipe and I have the distinction of being the first couple of tasters to be able to taste a new product that is coming into the United States. It's fairly available in the UK, probably. This is being imported by a company called Novel Spirits, based in the UK and also in the United States. We'll talk more about them in a second, but I'm really excited because Felipe and I, this is our first Bacanora. This is our first Bacanora that we're tasting, and it is called Pascola. As you can see it, for those of you who can see on my screen, lots of nice shiny bubbles. This is a new product for those of you who are unfamiliar with Bacanora. This is coming directly from the state of Sonora in Mexico. It does have a denomination of origin, and as mezcal can be made from several different. This is technically considered a mezcal, but it does have its own
Mm.
denomination of origin, so it is a Bacanora, just like Sotol is Sotol out of Chihuahua and Durango. This one is primarily in Sonora, and it is, I believe, the plant that it's made is made out of one specific plant. And according to the information that I have here from Novel Spirit, they were really nice enough to send me some information on the history of Bacanora, and I'll just read you some of this stuff. As you can see, it's rather pristine. The bottle is you can see the Mexican stamp on there. Felipe, the company is based. The import company is based in the UK, so we wanted Felipe to make sure that he was. And I know he has a flavor, a taste for mezcal, and some really fine tequilas. So I thought, hey, this is the guy that needs to taste this with us.
Thank you very much.
This is, well, thank you, because this is the first time that on Tequila Aficionado, for our Sipping Off the Cup, that we are tasting a Bacanora. Now, here's the deal. We know that there's some unrest going on in the mezcal industry. We also know that the tequila industry is going through some crisis, where the agave crisis. And if you think that it's not a big deal, I just received an email from a wonderful brand that said that they're going to have to hold off on any kind of promotions because of this crisis. They're hoping that prices settle down. So tequila and mezcal are in trouble. That means this, as consumers, we're going to be looking for the next best thing because we're kind of tired of the cookie cutter tequila flavors that are out there. So these folks, I think, are on the cutting edge. My understanding is that they're hoping to roll out in the United States somewhere either June or July officially. Felipe, have you seen this Pascola on the market at all? Have you seen it in any stores?
I've not seen it. There's not really much, even tequila on the shelf, unless you go to specific shops, mainly in London, is where I've seen them. But online, no. There's a couple, I think, the Mexican grocer, that kind of thing, that usually turn up at the Tequila Fest in Brick Lane.
Right.
They've got a couple of Bacanoras on there
Okay.
with the Blanco. They've definitely got the Blanco on there because I checked it up the other day, and I think that was going for around about 80 pounds, 80 pounds sterling. So that's, I don't know what the price is going to be in the US, but that translates to, I don't know, $100.
Possibly. I'm not sure how. I would imagine that this is a. Let me give you some background on this stuff. This is this line Pascola. First of all, is made from the agave that is used for. It's 100% Pacifica Agave is what they're calling it. There is a it does have a it does have an official name as well. It does have a genus.
I did look through on the website and I found Ungustifolia Hall.
Yes, Augustifolia, and that's in fact that's where it's in. It's in, I believe it's in one of these cards. There it is. They also sent us some of these cards, which I don't know who wrote this, but it sounds like it's been translated roughly. Let's put it that way. It's in English, but it could be better. Anyway, it is a mezcal, and it's a agave variety grown in the state of Sonora that can legally be called Bacanora. And I guess it was illegal until 1992.
Yeah, well, I found that quite stunning that it had been outlawed for nearly 100 years, isn't it? 1915, when I was looking through it, it was banned out. You could be hung for producing it.
Oh my God, no!
Yeah,
it's a 300-year-old.
Yeah, when I looked through on that.
Yeah, Vivipara L. And I'm not even sure that is the official word for it. There's a couple of words for. What did you say it was? Augustifolia? H-A-W, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, H-A-W, yeah.
Okay. So that is what is, or they call it Pacifica Agave, I guess. And regardless, it is it's the official plant that in which Bacanora can be made. And as you can see, the state of Sonora is a rather big state. So all of that is available as far as information goes. But anyway, they according to the history, it was a prohibition style. In 1915, it was outlawed or banned, and then the plant itself takes about 6 to 7 years to mature before it becomes usable. Yep. And in 2005, it acquired its denomination of origin. So it is now considered legal. And this particular line is being, my understanding is, and I'm hoping that this is correct, it sounds like it's being curated and discovered by a 46-year-old mother of 3 who is an engineer, an industrial systems engineer, and also I think she owns a master's in agribusiness administration. So I think that she is sourcing and curating this line. I'm not sure. I understand that the Novel Spirits, who's the importer, will be bringing up more Bacanoras, because you can follow them on Instagram also, and you can follow them on their Facebook page. They're consistently posting pictures of the stuff that they're discovering. But this is their first line that will be introducing into the U.S. and hopefully the U.K. And we're lucky enough to have it here tonight. So Felipe and I are just gonna pour this sucker. As you can see, I love the bubbles on this thing. Felipe has just recently popped his cork on his. I have. Well, I've tried. To be honest, the only Bacanora I've ever had was a creamed Bacanora back in Las Vegas, believe it or not. And I forget which brand it was that had that. But in any case, I'm using my Stossel Jarrito tumbler. You will be using the Glencairn.
The Glencairn.
And just by the way, I will be sending you out a set of these glasses as well. I just have to figure out which would be the most cost-effective way, besides having to fly over and bring these 2 glasses to you.
Fly over. I'll pull the sofa bed out.
Well, we are planning a UK tour, possibly not the following year, but the year after, I believe. And so sooner or later, you and I are going to be sitting side by side, and we'll be tasting some stuff together.
Yeah.
But
every night.
In the meantime, this is rather pristine. This is considered they're calling it a silver.
Yeah.
Unlike what mezcal is called a joven, we don't see any of the same nomenclature when it comes to Bacanora, and that's okay. That's all right. It's almost like Sotol. You know, they have its own jargon. And what are we getting as far as notes?
It's just a very mild smoke, isn't it?
Yeah, it was more intense earlier on, but now that I've been through part of the bottle, it's tamed itself. You'll notice if you buy a fresh bottle, you may or may not get that intense smokiness that most people refer to when they have mezcal.
Mm.
And I don't know much about the process, honestly. I'm not sure. Like I said, most of our information is rather vague. But because of the smoke, I'm going to say that the process is more akin to mezcal. It is after maturing in mountains. The agave is wild harvested by hand and packed out of the mountains by burros, and then slowly roasted in brick and rock-lined ovens. So that's what they're telling us. So the smokiness is almost, it's almost as if they're doing it underground, though. I mean,
I went through the website and I could only I couldn't get a translation of the site, so I've got a very remedial kind of Spanish.
Okay.
But what I could get from it was that it was obviously a couple of days, but the oven is lined with mesquite charcoal.
Right.
I mean, I don't know a great deal about the process for mezcals. I know that's standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after 3 days, or the third day, the cores are removed. Because I'm pretty sure I found somewhere that they took some part out and got the sugars from one part of the production and then mixed it all back in for the fermentation later on.
Well, they might throw in the fibers into the fermentation tanks, and that would mean that it's. I can tell you right now, the smell. I get smoke, but I also get a fruitiness from the plant. The smoke and the fruitiness are almost going hand in hand. So you may have to dig through the smoke to get some of the plant, but
it's almost like a nut, like a sweet nut to it. Yeah.
Wow.
Quite nice.
It is. It's very reminiscent of the first original mezcals that we were tasting when mezcal was first coming on board. Stuff that Del Maguey would bring. This is at a higher ABV. This is at 42 ABV, so it's 84 proof, and it's not as I'm wondering what this would taste like at even higher ABVs, like 45.
The other ones they're all pretty much they're all 42%, aren't they?
They're all 42. There's a definite like a caramelized or maybe a charcoal or caramelized agave. It's got a very rustic nose to it. Well,
that's not bad considering it's such a clear spirit to have that, because the smoke is quite obviously some mezcals the smoke is going to be prominent, but it's not an overpowering smoke at all, is it?
No, and the legs and tears, you can tell it's just plant and the process, and whoever the hands of the maker is. Like I said, these are, if I'm reading this correctly, her name is Adriana Torres, and she is Adriana Torres de la Huerta, and she is the curator, I believe, of Pascola. and there's more information on her background that I'm not going to go into because that would just take up a little bit too much more time. But I like where she's headed with this. Boy, I tell you what, if you clear the smoke a little bit like that, you get almost all fruit, all plant, and it's a very fruity smelling plant. I want to say like a mango or a papaya or a.
Yeah, I'd go for. I wouldn't say mango, but it's got that kind of. Definitely the papaya.
Yeah.
For that. It's almost like you know how papaya can be kind of waxy with the taste. Or we've been eating the right fruit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's dive in. Let's see what we got. Good smoke on the retronasal.
Now I can definitely taste the fruit in that now.
Yeah.
As compared to the smoke, the nose on it.
Yeah, the smoke is really more prominent on the nose than it is on the flavor. Although, I'll be honest, I've had some of this. I've had about a third of the bottle because, like I say, this is primarily my first Bacanora, and I have some guidelines to be able to base my opinions on, and my obviously some early mezcals and some higher proof mezcals and Sotol, of course. But what I noticed was the more I had, the more glassfuls I had throughout an evening, the more the smoke clung to your palate, almost like when you have a cigar. You know how when you go through a cigar and you get that smoke taste, and so it's always good to that's why I like having coffee with my cigars or a good a robust añejo. And but the more Bacanora I had, the more the smoke clung to my palate, and that would be the only side effect, I think, if you were to call it that, on your palate. That's it. That's the only coating and I think it's designed that way. It's just the process is like that.
There's a nice kind of oaky hit on the back of the throat to start with, but that dissipates pretty quick, doesn't it?
It's the mesquite, I think. It's the wood that they're using, I think. There's a bitterness on the tail end.
I could get used to that.
This would be fun with a cigar.
Well, now you've mentioned it.
Well, there you go. See?
At the moment, I've got hold of a box of Monte Cristo Edmondos, so I've just been.
Oh my God!
I've been having a few of those.
Wow.
Just, yeah. Everything goes with one of those.
I'm really digging this. And what kind of finish do we have? It's almost like a short to medium finish. It's not rather long like some of the mezcals I've had. You get that warm fuzzy all the way down. No. I'm not getting that.
It doesn't hang around, does it?
No. The smoke is probably the only thing that hangs around the most. I'm thinking that this would be great in a cocktail. It would really stand up. You could float it on your margarita like you would. I remember when mezcals were first a big deal, people would say, "Well, what do I do with it? Do I put it in a cocktail?" Everybody said, "Well, just float it on your margarita." And that's how it became more and more acceptable in cocktails. This is again this is the ground floor. They're really on the ground floor of something really beautiful in the States. I think there's a bright future for the spirit.
See, I've not had Bacanoras before, but if there's going to be a tequila shortage, then this could be the one that I would lean over to, because I don't like it. I'm not too keen on when the smoke is really, really overpowering.
Yeah.
That's it's just not my thing. But that, as a base level, that's quite good, because the smoke, yeah, it does.
You
It's
taste it
more
on your palate?
more of the nose, yeah. But once it's gone, you've got quite a. Every time I want to say fruity, I think of citrus, but it's not a citrus fruit that comes through.
No.
It's almost floral as well, but.
Well, yeah, there are some floral notes on the nose, but it's so slight that the smoke just the smoke overpowers the floral, and that could be, again, that's part of the process. You really, that's one of those things you have to really spend time with the spirit, I think, to be able to pull a lot of stuff out of it. It's like any other mezcal, really. If you spend time with it, they haven't been able to pattern all the scents and aromas and flavors from mezcal. It has way more than the tequila does.
Yeah.
But people are not. They're tired, of having to dumb down, flavor profiles of some tequilas. And if you're looking for something, this is definitely a rustico, a rustic.
Yeah.
Maybe even ancestral. If I were to use the category divisions in mezcal, where they have rustico, they have ancestral, they have artisanal. This one kind of fits all that, because it really does taste authentic. I mean, what do you think? What would you do with it? Would you play with it in a cocktail?
I'm not really one for cocktails. I'm not a really big cocktail drinker. I mean, I tend to drink things straight. Mm-hmm. I mean, rum I'll mix, whiskeys I'll mix, but I'm not a big whiskey drinker anyway. Tequilas, I'll guarantee I'll just drink everything. So, I mean, what I'll put in, a chunk of ice and maybe some cucumber every now and then, but I do like having a chunk of ice with it. I mean, people frown at me for that, but
no. I wonder what ice would do to this thing. I wonder if it would open up even more, or if it would tone down the smoke. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what. I haven't played around with the spirit long enough.
It would be interesting, because obviously there's some whiskies, isn't there, that you're meant to have a drop of water. My dad's a whiskey drinker.
Yes. And
he'll say, "Do you want some water in it?" And I go, "Well, how am I meant to drink it?" Because normally I'll just have it straight from the bottle.
Yeah.
Don't even give me a glass. And I'll have a bit, and then he'll take the glass away and he'll put a bit of water in it. He says, "Give it a minute," and he'll drink it, and he'll go, "That's it's quite different." So, like, I'll be intrigued with just a little bit of a drop in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a good starting point.
I do too. I think this is a great experiment. It's definitely worthy of finding, tasting. It's not unlike some mezcals that you've had. It may even be less intense. Because of course every agave plant that there is has different characteristics, and I'm sure that the other Bacanoras that Novel Spirits is planning on introducing to the markets will have different flavor profiles, because it must be very similar to mezcals. Not only is it the altitude, the plant, the hand of the maker, there's the process. There's a lot of things that influence the final outcome. But what I like this, man. This is really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Like I said, I've never had them before. I've had mezcals and sotols and stuff and things, but I've not had a Bacanora. So,
well, I think
I wasn't too sure. I mean, that was the first time I've had it. I mean, I know you've gone through a bottle of it, but I thought I'd just leave it to just get that first impression from it. But yeah, I can be persuaded with that.
Well, it's interesting, because I started thinking to myself as I went through the line in the last few days, is I'd be interested, now that we've been introduced to Bacanora, I'd be interested to taste the different variations, like at a higher alcohol level, if that's even possible, like 45 ABV. I'd like to know what other I'm not even sure what they call them. What other vinatas? I think the sotols are called vinatas and not palenques or distilleries. It'd be interesting to see what the other makers have come up with and how their process differs in the final outcome. You know, I want to know more. Let's put it that way. I've been introduced now, and I'm kind of hooked, and I want to know more.
I am kind of intrigued with that. That's something I'll look more into. You know, it's just it's not one. You know, it could have been a case of we go, oh no, that's just really not me, and that would be the end of that for me. But that's nice. It's warm. I've still got not really an aftertaste. It's almost like a palate freshener.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I'm done. It's like, okay, well, I'm ready. What's next? What's going? Do you know? It's
yeah. It's like
bring out the soup.
Well,
before the main.
The funny thing is, it's most clear spirits are aperitifs. You know, they open up your appetite, and that's true with this. You get the munchies. But here's the thing: before we sign off and we go into what the reposado will do. I've been to a third of this bottle in one night. Okay, no buzz. I'm telling you, there are some tequilas and some mezcals that will, that you don't need to go through a whole lot, but this stuff is so clean that the only thing I get are the munchies. I get hungry, truth be told, I've had these after dinner, but there's no buzz. I don't understand the why that's not the case, because there are some mezcals, even on a full stomach, you get a little bit of a buzz. You know what I'm talking about? A nice, a nice pleasant buzz. I got nothing, and it's consistent. So this stuff is so clean that it's just
challenge accepted.
Okay. There you go. Well, before you do that, why don't we say I gotta do it. Brand of Promise nominee in the Bacanora category. I think this is a beautiful spirit. I want to know more about it. Now that I've this one's let me get the name, Pascola Bacanora, and this is being curated by a Adriana Torres de la Huerta, and brought to you by Novel Spirits out of the UK and the United States. So thank you to those folks. They will be rolling out by the time you folks see this video. They will have rolled out officially, and but Felipe and I are be back shortly, because we are going to go through the reposado and the añejo shortly. That's our take on Pascola. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio, and that gentleman is
Felipe Tejeda.
You've been watching Sipping Off the Cuff on all of our platforms on Tequila Aficionado Media and everywhere else. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. You can also catch all of our latest videos on audio on your Alexa app. Yep, see, mine just turned on. So you'll be hearing Felipe on Alexa here shortly too. Whatever you do, tomar sabiamente. Sip wisely. That's your line, pal.
Oh, sip wisely.
I'm Mike Morales. I'm CEO of Tequila Aficionado Media, and I just wanted to thank you for watching Sipping Off the Cuff. We love doing these reviews for you. Now, if you're an Agave Spirits brand owner and you're watching this, there are 3 things that I'd like to talk to you about. Number 1, if you'd like us to review your Agave Spirit on Sipping Off the Cuff, just send me an email, mike@tequilaaficionado.com. It won't cost you a dime, and I promise you'll get an honest review. Number 2, if your brand has been nominated, past or present, as a brand of promise, we can help you promote your brand effectively and affordably over on the tequila PR side of things. Just email me, mike@tequilapr.com. And number 3, if your brand has ever been a Brand of Promise nominee or a winner, you automatically qualify with us, or to go with us on our next promotional tequila tour. So shoot me an email, tours@tequilaaficionado.com, and I'll send you all the details on our upcoming tequila tour. That's it. Thanks again for watching. Sip wisely.